The stars looked different this far from Earth. Captain Jiho stood on the bridge of the Horizon Dawn and watched the massive alien ships appear on the view screen. There were 12 of them, each one 10 times larger than his vessel. They moved with perfect precision, forming a circle around the human ship like predators surrounding prey. "Captain, they're hailing us," Hana said from her station. Her fingers moved quickly across the controls. "Audio and visual coming through. Put it on screen," Jiho ordered. His heart beat faster, but his voice stayed calm. This was humanity's first contact with an advanced alien civilization. Everything depended on the next few minutes. The screen flickered and showed a massive throne room. Sitting on the throne was a being that looked almost human, but not quite. Her skin had a slight purple tint and her eyes were completely silver without any white parts. She wore robes that seemed to shift colors like oil on water. Behind her stood dozens of similar beings, all watching with those strange silver eyes. "I am Queen Erethia of the Valeth Empire," the alien said. Her mouth didn't move much when she spoke, but the words came through perfectly in Korean. "We have observed your species. We find you disturbing." Jiho felt his crew tense around him. Taehyun's hand moved closer to the weapons controls. Yuna leaned forward in her seat, her scientific mind already analyzing everything she saw. "Your Majesty," Jiho said carefully, "we come in peace. We seek only to establish friendly relations between our peoples." "Peace?" The Queen's silver eyes seemed to glow brighter. "You speak of peace, yet your emotional patterns suggest deception, aggression, hope, and fear all at once. Your mind is chaos. Your species is chaos." "I don't understand," Jiho said. "We mean no harm." "You cannot help but cause harm," another alien spoke. This one was younger, standing beside the throne. She wore a crown that was smaller than the Queen's. "You lie even when you believe you speak truth. Your emotions change like storms. You make decisions without logic. You are dangerous." The young alien must be the princess, Jiho thought. He noticed she watched them with more curiosity than fear, unlike the others. "Captain, they're charging weapons," Daehyun reported quietly. "All 12 ships." "Wait, please," Jiho said, raising his hands. "Give us a chance to explain." "Explain what?" Queen Erethia asked. "We are telepathic. We sense emotions. Your crew radiates contradictions. Your tactical officer thinks of both friendship and violence. Your scientist feels wonder and terror. You yourself experience doubt and confidence simultaneously. This should be impossible." "It is madness. It's called being human," Yuna said suddenly. She stood up from her station. "We feel many things at once because life is complicated. Just because you don't understand us doesn't make us dangerous." "Yuna, sit down," Jiho warned. But the damage was done. The alien ship's weapons glowed brighter. Queen Erethia stood from her throne. "You prove my point," she said coldly. "Your subordinate challenges authority even in crisis, disorder, chaos. You are a threat to galactic stability. I will not allow your species to spread." "No, wait," Jiho shouted. The screen went dark. An instant later, the ship shook violently. Alarms blared across the bridge. "Shields at 60%, Daehyun called out. "They're not trying to destroy us quickly. They're testing our defenses." "Return fire," Jiho ordered. "Our weapons won't even scratch their shields," Daehyun said, but he fired anyway. The human missiles exploded harmlessly against the alien barrier. Another blast hit them. The lights flickered. A support beam broke loose from the ceiling and fell toward Hana's station. Daehyun saw it falling and threw himself forward, pushing Hana out of the way. The beam crashed where she had been sitting. Daehyun groaned, trapped under the metal. "Daehyun!" Hana screamed. She and Yuna rushed to lift the beam off him. The screen flickered back to life. The princess stood there now, closer to the camera. Her silver eyes were wide. "Mother, stop," they heard her say. "Did you see that?" "See what?" The Queen's voice came from off-screen. "The male. He was injured. He should have protected himself. But he saved the female instead. Without calculation. Without hesitation. He didn't even think about it." There was silence. Then the Queen appeared on screen again, staring at them intensely. "Why did you do that?" she asked Daehyun directly. Daehyun, still on the floor with blood on his forehead, looked confused. "Do what?" "Save her. You were wounded. You decreased your own survival chance." "She's my friend," Daehyun said, as if it was obvious. "Of course I saved her." The aliens on screen seemed to have a silent conversation. Their faces didn't change expression much, but something passed between them. "Interesting," the Queen said finally. This behavior makes no logical sense, yet you performed it instinctively. Your species acts against self-interest for emotional reasons. This is either profound stupidity or something we have forgotten. Captain, the princess spoke. May I ask, do all humans behave this way? Yes, Jiho said. We protect each other. We sacrifice for each other. It's what makes us human. Fascinating, the princess whispered. Queen Arythea raised her hand and the alien ship's weapons powered down. The relief on the bridge was immediate. I am Queen Arythea, and this is my daughter, Princess Lithera, the queen said formally. I have decided not to destroy you immediately. Instead, I will make you an offer. Come to my flagship. Come alone, Captain. We will talk about the future of your species. And if I refuse? Jiho asked. Then your species has no future, the queen said simply. You have 1 hour to decide. The screen went dark again, but this time no weapons fired. The alien ship simply waited. Captain, you can't go over there alone, Hana said, helping Daehyun to his feet. It's obviously a trap. Maybe, Jiho said. But what choice do we have? They could destroy us right now if they wanted to. I'll go with you, Daehyun offered. No, you're injured, and she said alone. Jiho looked at his crew. If I don't come back, take the ship home. Tell Earth everything you learned. Maybe the next ship will do better. There won't be a next ship if you don't come back, Yuna said quietly. Those ships will reach Earth long before we do. She was right. Jiho knew it. This wasn't just about him anymore. It was about Earth's survival. Then I guess I'd better make a good impression, he said, trying to smile. Hana, open a channel. Tell them I accept. As the small shuttle carried him toward the massive alien flagship, Jiho wondered what kind of offer could make a queen spare humanity. Whatever it was, he had a feeling his life was about to change forever. Behind him, the Horizon Dawn looked small and fragile against the stars. Ahead, the alien ship grew larger and larger, swallowing his shuttle in shadow. The doors opened with a hiss. Queen Arythea waited inside, her silver eyes unreadable. Princess Lithera stood beside her, and Jiho could swear he saw curiosity in her expression. Welcome, human, the queen said. Let us discuss whether your species deserves to live. The throne room was enormous. Jiho walked down a long pathway made of something that looked like crystal, but felt warm under his boots. On both sides, alien nobles watched him with those unsettling silver eyes. Nobody spoke. Nobody moved. They just stared. Queen Arythea sat on her throne at the far end. Princess Lithera stood beside her, studying him with open interest. At least Jiho thought it was interest. Reading alien expressions was nearly impossible. You came alone and unarmed, the queen observed. Either you are very brave or very foolish. Maybe both, Jiho admitted. You said you wanted to talk about my species' future. Indeed. The queen stood and walked down the steps toward him. She was tall, maybe 7 feet. Tell me, Captain, what do you know of the Valeth Empire? Very little. We only detected your civilization 3 months ago. We have ruled this galaxy for 12,000 years, she said. We have conquered worlds beyond counting. Our technology is so advanced that your species cannot comprehend it. Our minds are linked telepathically. We are perfect beings, Jiho said nothing. Something about the way she said perfect sounded hollow. Yet despite all this, the queen continued, we are dying. That surprised him. Dying how? Not through war. Not through disease. We are dying because we have become stagnant. She gestured around the room. Look at them. My nobles, my advisors. They have lived for centuries. They know everything. They feel nothing. They create nothing new. I don't understand, Jiho said. Princess Lithera stepped forward. May I explain, Mother? The queen nodded. Our birth rates have fallen for 3,000 years, Lithera said. Her voice was softer than her mother's. We have no art, no music, no innovation. Every problem we face, we solve with the same logical methods we used 1,000 years ago. We are perfect, Captain, but perfection means we cannot change, and things that cannot change eventually die. What does this have to do with humanity? Jiho asked. Everything, Queen Arythea said. Your species is chaos, emotion, unpredictability. Everything we removed from ourselves to become perfect. When I saw your officer sacrifice himself for his companion, I realized something. We cannot remember the last time a Valeth acted without calculating the cost. We have optimized ourselves into extinction. The words hung in the air. Around the room, the nobles remained silent and still, but Jiho sensed something. Sadness? Loneliness? It was hard to tell. You want to learn from us? Jiho asked carefully. No, the queen said. I want to bind our species together permanently. She clapped her hands. Servants brought forward a chair for Jiho. He sat, sensing this was about to get complicated. I propose a marriage, Queen Arethia said. Between you and my daughter. Jiho's mind went blank. I'm sorry, what? You will marry Princess Lethera. You will become part of the royal family. Humanity will be bound to the Valeth Empire through this union. In exchange, we will protect Earth. We will share our technology. Your species will be elevated to client status rather than destroyed. Mother, Lethera said quietly. But the queen raised her hand. This is not negotiable, daughter. It is necessary. Jiho stood up quickly. You can't be serious. You want me to marry someone I just met? Someone from a completely different species? The marriage itself is symbolic, the queen explained. But symbols have power. If a human can join our royal line, it proves that change is possible. It proves that we can adapt. More importantly, it gives me the political authority to spare your species. And if I refuse? The queen's expression didn't change. Then the conservative faction will force my hand. They fear humans. They will insist on your extinction. The marriage gives me leverage to protect Earth while we study your species and learn what we have lost. Jiho felt trapped. This is insane. Perhaps, Lethera said. But you must understand our perspective. Without change, the Valeth will disappear within 1,000 years. With your species' help, we might survive. And your species certainly won't survive without our protection. She was right, and Jiho knew it. Earth had no weapons that could stop the Valeth. If the queen wanted, she could sterilize his planet from orbit. Can I speak with my crew? He asked. No, the queen said. This decision must be yours alone. You have 1 hour. They left him in a smaller room with a window that showed space. The stars looked cold and distant. Jiho thought about Earth, about his family, about the billions of people who would die if he said no. But he also thought about what it meant to marry an alien princess, to give up his freedom, to become a political tool. When they came back, Jiho still didn't have an answer. Time is up, Queen Arethia said. I need to know something first, Jiho said.
Princess Lethera, what do you think about this?
Lethera seemed surprised by the question. My thoughts are irrelevant. I serve the Empire. That's not what I asked. She was quiet for a moment. I have been watching recordings of your species since our encounter. I find you confusing, disturbing, but also fascinating. You create art for no logical reason. You laugh even in danger. You hope for things you cannot prove will happen. I do not understand any of it, but I want to. So you're curious? Jiho asked. Yes, is that wrong? No, Jiho said. Curiosity is good. It's very human. Something flickered across her face. Maybe pleasure at the compliment. Jiho turned to the queen. If I agree, I want conditions. You are not in a position to negotiate. Then you're not desperate enough yet, Jiho said. If you truly need humanity's chaos, then you need us to stay human. That means no enslavement, no genetic experiments. Earth remains independent. Impossible, one of the nobles said. Humans cannot be trusted with independence. Then find another chaotic species to save you, Jiho shot back. Because I won't sell out my people for protection. We'll fight you and die if we have to. Queen Arethia studied him for a long moment. You would truly choose death over submission? Yes, that's also very human. The queen laughed. It was a strange sound, dry and unused. Perhaps there is hope for us after all. Very well. I agree to your terms. Earth remains independent. We offer alliance, not conquest. But you will marry my daughter. You will live among us. You will teach us what it means to be human. Jiho felt the weight of the decision crushing him. Save Earth but lose his freedom. It wasn't really a choice at all, I accept. He said quietly. Princess Lethera stepped forward. Thank you, Captain. I know this is difficult. You have no idea, Jiho said. Perhaps not, but I will try to understand. That is my promise to you. They touched hands and Jiho felt warmth from her skin. She was real. This was really happening. Queen Arethia smiled for the first time. Excellent. We will announce the engagement to both our peoples. Captain, you are now a member of the Royal House of Valeth. Congratulations. As guards escorted him back to his shuttle, Jiho wondered what he had just done. He had saved Earth, but at what cost? And how would his crew react when he told them he was going to marry an alien princess? The shuttle docked with the Horizon Dawn. His crew waited anxiously in the hangar. Captain, Hana ran forward. What happened? Are we safe? Jiho looked at their worried faces. Hana, Daehyun with bandages on his head, Hyuna with her tablet ready to take notes, his crew, his friends were safe, he said. Earth is safe. But I'm not coming home. What? Daehyun said. What do you mean? I made a deal. I'm marrying the princess. It's the only way to protect Earth. Silence. Then everyone tried to talk at once. You can't be serious. This is insane. Captain, they can't force you. Jiho raised his hand. It's done, I agreed. Now we need to figure out how to make this work, because humanity's future depends on it. 3 weeks had passed since Jiho agreed to marry Princess Lethera. He now lived in the royal palace, a massive structure that floated in space like a small moon. Every day brought new challenges and confusions. The Vaelith courtship rituals were complicated. Jiho had to attend formal dinners where nobody spoke and everyone communicated telepathically except him. He had to wear ceremonial robes that changed color based on the wearer's emotions, which meant everyone could see his feelings displayed like a billboard. He had to learn Vaelith customs that made no sense to him. Why do I have to stand exactly 7 steps behind you? He asked Lethera as they walked through the garden. Well, it was called a garden, but the plants were made of crystal and hummed with energy. It shows respect for the hierarchy, Lethera explained. I am royal. You are becoming royal. Until the marriage is complete, you are not fully elevated. On Earth, couples walk side by side. Why? Because we're equals, partners. Lethera stopped walking and looked at him. Equals, but you have different roles. Different abilities. How can you be equal? Equal doesn't mean identical, Jiho said. It means we value each other the same amount. We respect each other. Respect. Lethera repeated the word slowly. We have that word, but I think it means something different to you. These conversations happened often. Simple words that meant completely different things to each species. Jiho was learning that the Vaelith language was precise and logical, but it had no words for many human concepts. No word for play, no word for hope, no word for joke. Tell me about jokes again, Lethera said as they continued walking. She was getting better at sensing what he was thinking. A joke is when you say something unexpected to make people laugh, Jiho explained. But why? Because laughter feels good. Because it relieves tension. Because sometimes life is hard and we need to find joy in small things. Life should not be hard if you plan properly, Lethera said. Jiho sighed. You can't plan for everything. Why not? This was going to be a long engagement. Meanwhile, not everyone was happy about the marriage. Jiho learned this when an alien noble named High Chancellor Thoraxis visited him in his quarters. Thoraxis was older than most Vaelith, his purple skin darker with age. His silver eyes were cold and calculating. Human, he said without greeting. You should not be here. I'm here because your queen invited me, Jiho replied calmly. The queen is making a mistake. Humans are inferior, chaotic, dangerous. You will contaminate our pure bloodline. Pure bloodline? Jiho felt anger rising. Is that what you call a dying civilization, pure? Thoraxis's face remained expressionless, but his robes flashed red. Careful, human. You are not protected yet. Is that a threat? It is a warning. There are many of us who oppose this marriage. Accidents happen in the palace. The royal guard cannot watch you always. After Thoraxis left, Jiho reported the conversation to Lethera. She seemed concerned. Thoraxis leads the traditional faction, she explained. They fear change above all else. They would rather see our species die than adapt. Can he really hurt me? Legally, no. Secretly, perhaps. You should be careful, Jiho. It was the first time she had used his name instead of calling him human or captain. Something about the way she said it made him feel less alone. The next day, Jiho's food arrived with poison in it. He didn't know until Hana, who had come to visit from the Horizon Dawn, scanned it with her medical device. Captain, don't eat that, she shouted. It's full of toxins that would kill a human in minutes. Lethera, who was dining with them, immediately called the guards. They arrested the servant who brought the food. Under questioning, the servant admitted Thoraxis had ordered the poisoning. Queen Erethia was furious. She summoned her court and publicly punished Thoraxis, reducing his rank and influence. But she couldn't remove him completely without causing a political crisis. He will try again, the queen warned Jiho privately. You must be more careful. Why don't you just arrest him? Jiho asked. Because half the nobility supports him. If I move against him too harshly, they will see it as tyranny. I will lose control. The empire could fracture into civil war. Politics, Jiho thought. Even aliens had politics. As the weeks continued, Jiho and Lethera spent more time together. They had to for the courtship rituals, but slowly something unexpected happened. They started to become friends. Lethera was curious about everything human. She asked endless questions about Earth, about emotions, about why humans did seemingly illogical things. Jiho found himself enjoying these conversations. She was intelligent and honest in a way that was refreshing. One night, Jiho showed her human music. He played an old song on his portable device, something with a strong beat and emotional singing. Lethera listened in silence. Then she said, "I do not understand the purpose." "There is no purpose," Jiho said. "It's just beautiful." Beautiful. Another word the Valeth had but didn't truly understand. For them, beauty was mathematical perfection. For humans, beauty was something felt, not calculated. "Listen to how the singer's voice cracks here," Jiho pointed out. "It's not perfect, but it shows emotion. Real feeling." Lethera listened again. This time something changed in her expression. "I feel strange. My chest feels tight. My thoughts are confused. Is this normal?" Jiho smiled. "You're feeling emotion. That's good. It is uncomfortable. Sometimes. But sometimes it's wonderful." Lethera looked at him directly. "You are teaching me things I was designed never to learn. The genetic modifications my ancestors made were supposed to remove emotional capacity, but exposure to you seems to be breaking down those barriers." "Is that bad?" Jiho asked. "I do not know. But I find that I want to continue learning, even if it is uncomfortable. Does that make sense?" "Perfect sense." Meanwhile, Hana discovered something important in the Royal Archives. She had been researching Valeth history and found references to an ancient philosopher named Kyreth. This philosopher had predicted the decline of Valeth civilization thousands of years ago. "Captain, you need to see this," Hana said, showing him her tablet in his quarters. Kyreth wrote about how removing emotions would lead to stagnation. But here's the interesting part. He left a hidden archive somewhere in the palace, meant for future generations when they finally realized their mistake. "Can you find it?" Jiho asked. "I'm trying, but the references are vague. It's like a puzzle. Keep looking. If we can prove that the ancient Valeth knew this would happen, maybe we can convince more of them that change is necessary." That evening, Jiho attended another formal dinner. Thoraxis was there, glaring at him from across the hall. The poison attempt had failed, but Jiho knew the Chancellor wouldn't give up. After dinner, Lethera asked Jiho to walk with her on the observation deck. They looked out at the stars together. "I have been thinking," she said, "about our marriage, about what it means, and—" Jiho prompted. "At first I saw it only as duty, a political necessity, but now I find myself wanting to understand you, not because I must, but because you interest me. Is this what humans call friendship?" Jiho felt warmth in his chest. "Yes, that's friendship. And can friendship become more? Can it become what humans call love?" The question surprised him. "Sometimes. If both people want it to, do you want that? Or do you still see this only as a way to save your species?" Jiho thought carefully before answering. "At first, yes. I only agreed to save Earth, but you're not what I expected, Lethera. You're trying so hard to understand us, to change yourself. That takes courage. And I respect courage." "Respect," she said softly. "I am beginning to understand that word." They stood in comfortable silence watching the stars. Somewhere out there was Earth. Somewhere out there was the future they were trying to build together. An alarm suddenly blared. Guards rushed onto the observation deck. "Princess," one of them shouted. "There's been an explosion in the south wing. Multiple casualties." Lethera immediately became focused and cold, her royal training taking over. "Where? Show me." As they ran toward the crisis, Jiho realized something. The traditional faction wasn't just targeting him anymore. They were escalating. This was becoming a war, and he and Lethera were caught in the middle of it. The explosion had damaged the section where visiting human diplomats were housed. 3 humans were injured. It was a clear message. Humans were not welcome, and those who supported them would be punished. "This ends now," Queen Erythia declared when she saw the damage. "Thoraxis has gone too far." But the Queen was wrong. It wasn't ending. It was just beginning. The wedding was supposed to happen in 3 days. Instead, Jiho woke up to alarms and the sound of weapons fire. "Captain!" Daehyun's voice crackled through his communication device. "The palace is under attack. Thoraxis launched a coup. He's taken control of half the Imperial fleet." Jiho rolled out of bed and grabbed his clothes. "Where's Lithera?" "We don't know. Communication is jammed. But the Queen's forces are holding the central palace. You need to get there now." Jiho ran through the corridors. Other people were running too, both human visitors and Valith servants. Nobody seemed to know what was happening. He could hear explosions in the distance. 2 Valith soldiers in unfamiliar uniforms appeared around a corner. They raised their weapons when they saw him. "The human," one of them said. "Chancellor Thoraxis wants him alive." Jiho didn't wait. He ducked into a side passage and ran. The soldiers followed, firing energy bolts that scorched the walls. Jiho knew these hallways now after weeks in the palace. He led them on a chase, taking turns that would bring him closer to the throne room. He burst into a storage room and found Hana and Yuna hiding there with several Valith civilians. "Captain," Yuna whispered urgently. "Thank goodness. We've been trapped here for an hour. What's happening?" Jiho asked. "Coup," Hana said. "Thoraxis declared the Queen unfit to rule. He says she's been contaminated by human emotional instability. He's broadcasting propaganda across the Empire. Where's Lithera?" "Last we heard, she was fighting with the Royal Guard near the throne room," Yuna said. "But that was 30 minutes ago." Jiho made a decision. "Stay here. Keep these people safe. I'm going to find Lithera." "That's suicide," Hana argued. "Probably, but I'm not hiding while she's in danger." He left before they could stop him. The corridors were chaos now. Loyal and rebel forces were fighting throughout the palace. Jiho stayed low, avoiding the main battles, working his way toward the center. He found Daehyun pinned down with a squad of royal guards. They were defending a junction that led to the throne room. "Captain," Daehyun shouted over the weapons fire. "What are you doing here?" "Looking for Lithera." "Is she in the throne room?" "Yes, but we can't reach her. They've got the corridor locked down." Jiho looked at the situation. The rebel forces were dug in with heavy weapons. A direct assault would be suicide. But Jiho had learned something during his weeks in the palace. The Valith always attacked from the front because it was logical. They never thought about alternative routes. "There's a service tunnel," Jiho said, remembering his exploration of the palace. "It runs parallel to this corridor. We can flank them." "How do you know that?" Daehyun asked. "I got lost my second day here. Come on." They left half the guards to keep the rebels busy and took the rest through the service tunnel. It was tight and dark, but it worked. They emerged behind the rebel position. "Now," Jiho shouted. They hit the rebels from behind while the other guards attacked from the front. Caught between 2 forces, the rebels broke and retreated. "I do not understand how you knew that would work," one of the Valith guards said to Jiho. "Because you guys always do the logical thing," Jiho explained. "Sometimes the illogical thing works better." They reached the throne room doors. Inside they could hear fighting. The doors were heavy and locked. Daehyun tried to override the controls, but the system was damaged. "Stand back," one of the guards said. He used his energy weapon to cut through the lock. The doors slowly opened. Inside the throne room was a battlefield. Queen Aerithia stood on her throne platform, surrounded by her elite guard. They were fighting off waves of rebel soldiers. And in the middle of the fighting, Jiho saw Lithera. She moved with a grace Jiho had never seen before. The princess was a trained warrior, fighting with both physical weapons and mental attacks. Her silver eyes glowed as she used telekinetic powers to throw rebels across the room. But there were too many rebels. The queen's forces were being overwhelmed. "For the queen!" Jiho shouted, leading Daehyun and the guards into the battle. The addition of fresh troops turned the tide. The rebels fell back, regrouping near the entrance. That's when Thoraxis himself entered the throne room. The old chancellor walked slowly, confidently. His silver eyes swept across the room. "Aerithia," he said calmly, "you have lost. My forces control the fleet. I control the palace. Surrender now and I will allow you to live in exile." "Never," the queen said. "You are committing treason." "I am saving our species from contamination," Thoraxis replied. "You have allowed these emotional humans to poison our perfection. Under my rule, the Valith will return to purity." "Return to dying, you mean?" Lithera said, stepping forward. Blood dripped from a cut on her arm, but she stood straight. "We were dying before the humans came. Father Thoraxis, can you not see? We have created nothing new in 1,000 years. We feel nothing. We are already dead, just waiting for our bodies to realize it. Emotions make you weak, Thoraxis said, do they? Lethera looked at Jiho, something passed between them. Then watch this. She closed her eyes. Her whole body began to glow. Every Valeth in the room suddenly stopped, their eyes widening in shock. What are you doing? Thoraxis demanded. Something no Valeth has done in 10,000 years, Lethera said. I am creating. Jiho felt it then. A wave of something washing over his mind. Music? No, it was more than music. It was emotion made into energy. It was feeling given form. Lethera was broadcasting her emotions telepathically across the palace. Every Valeth could feel what she felt. Fear and courage, sadness and joy, love and anger, all the messy, chaotic human emotions she had learned over the past weeks. And she was broadcasting something else too, a composition. A psionic symphony that expressed everything she had learned about being alive, truly alive. The Valeth rebels began lowering their weapons. Many fell to their knees, overwhelmed. They had never felt anything like this before. Their genetic modifications had suppressed their emotions for millennia, but Lethera's broadcast was breaking through those barriers. Thoraxis stumbled backward. Stop this! You are breaking the protocols. You are undoing generations of perfection. I am waking us up, Lethera cried. Her voice echoed through the throne room and through every mind connected to her. We are not perfect. We are hollow. These humans showed me what we lost. They showed me how to feel. The symphony grew stronger. Jiho could see tears on the faces of Valeth soldiers, actual tears. They were experiencing emotions for the first time in their lives. Then Lethera did something that made Thoraxis scream in rage. She opened the hidden archive. Hana had found the location of the ancient philosopher Kireth's secret archive. Lethera now broadcast its contents to every Valeth in the palace. They saw the truth. Their ancestors had deliberately removed emotions, believing it would make them stronger, but Kireth had warned them. He had predicted everything that would happen. See? Lethera's voice rang through every mind. Our greatest philosopher knew. He warned us that logic without emotion leads to stagnation. He told us we would need help from an emotional species to remember what we lost. The rebels were breaking. Weapons clattered to the floor as Valeth soldiers experienced wonder, grief, and hope for the first time. They were being reborn, but Thoraxis was strong. He had lived centuries and his emotional suppression was deep. He raised his weapon toward Lethera. If I cannot save us through purity, then I will save us by killing the contamination. He fired. Jiho moved without thinking. He threw himself in front of Lethera. The energy bolt hit him square in the chest. Pain exploded through his body. He fell, the world spinning. Jiho! Lethera's scream was both vocal and mental, broadcast to everyone. Her anguish, her terror, her sudden realization that she loved him, it all flooded through the telepathic network. And that emotion, that pure, desperate love and fear, broke through the last barriers. Every Valeth in the palace, in the fleet, felt it. They understood it. They awakened. Thoraxis dropped his weapon, his face showing emotion for the first time. Horror, realization, grief. What have I done? He whispered. The rebellion ended in that moment. The rebels surrendered, overwhelmed by the emotional awakening. Lethera cradled Jiho's head in her lap. Do not die, please. I am only beginning to understand what love means. Do not leave me now. Yuna rushed in with medical equipment. He's alive. Barely. We need to get him to medical immediately. As they carried Jiho away, he looked up at Lethera's face. She was crying. Silver tears ran down her purple cheeks. It was beautiful. Worth it, he whispered before unconsciousness took him. Jiho woke up in a medical pod filled with blue liquid. For a moment he panicked, but then realized he could breathe. The liquid was feeding oxygen directly into his lungs while repairing his damaged tissue. Through the transparent walls, he saw Lethera sitting beside the pod. She was holding her hand against the glass where his hand was. When she noticed he was awake, her face transformed with relief. Jiho, she said. Her voice came through speakers. You are alive. The doctors said you would heal, but I did not believe them until now. The pod slowly drained and opened. Jiho sat up, feeling surprisingly good. His chest still ached where the energy bolt hit him, but the pain was manageable. How long was I unconscious? He asked. 3 days. So much has happened. Lithera helped him out of the pod. The rebellion is over. Thoraxis and his supporters surrendered. Mother has pardoned most of them because they were simply doing what they believed was right. And Thoraxis? He is in meditation. He asked to be alone to process his new emotions. For someone who has lived 4 centuries without feeling, the sudden awakening is overwhelming. Jiho nodded. I can imagine. How are the others handling it? It varies. Some Valeth are joyful. Some are frightened. Many are confused. We have counselors working with everyone, including human psychologists from your ship. Yuna has been especially helpful. They walked through the palace. Jiho noticed immediate changes. Colors were brighter. Decorations that served no logical purpose had been added. He even heard music playing somewhere, something with an actual melody instead of mathematical tones. The palace feels different, he said. Everything is different now, Lithera agreed. My people are learning to feel. It is chaotic and messy and wonderful, just like you said it would be. In the throne room, Queen Arethia was meeting with her council. The nobles looked strange to Jiho now. They were smiling, frowning, showing actual expressions. It was like watching statues come to life. Captain Jiho, the queen said warmly, I am glad to see you recovered. You saved my daughter and perhaps our entire civilization. I just did what felt right, Jiho said. Exactly. The queen smiled. You acted on instinct, on emotion, on love. These are things we had forgotten how to do. You reminded us. What happens now? Jiho asked. Now we rebuild, the queen said. But first we must address the original agreement. The marriage between you and my daughter was meant to be political, but I think it has become something more. She looked at Lithera, who stepped forward. Jiho, Lithera said formally. When we first met, I agreed to marry you because it was my duty. But during your recovery, I realized something. The fear I felt when you were injured. The relief when you woke up. The desire to be near you always. Yuna explained that these feelings have a name. Love. You love me? Jiho asked softly. I believe so, though I am still learning what that means. She took his hands. I want to marry you not because my mother commands it or because it serves political purposes. I want to marry you because being with you makes me feel alive. Is that acceptable? Jiho felt tears in his own eyes. Yes, that's very acceptable. They kissed and the council applauded. It was a strange sound coming from beings who had never applauded before, but it was genuine. The wedding happened 2 weeks later. It was a combination of human and Valeth traditions. Human guests from Earth attended, along with what felt like half the Valeth Empire. The ceremony was broadcast across multiple star systems. Jiho wore a mixture of Korean traditional clothes and Valeth robes. Lithera wore a dress that changed colors with her emotions, showing everyone how happy she was. Daehyun served as best man. Hana and Yuna were bridesmaids. The queen herself officiated. We gather here, Queen Arethia said, to witness not just the union of 2 individuals, but the joining of 2 species. Humans have taught us to feel. We will teach them to reach the stars. Together we will create something neither species could achieve alone. After the ceremony, the celebration lasted 3 days. Jiho learned that Valeth, who could feel emotions, really enjoyed parties. They danced, they laughed, they created art and music. It was beautiful chaos. On the 4th day, Jiho and Lithera stood on the bridge of a new ship. It was called the New Dawn, and it was designed by both human and Valeth engineers. It combined human creativity with Valeth technology. Where do we go first? Lithera asked. She stood beside him as his equal, not 7 steps behind. Somewhere nobody has explored yet, Jiho said. That's the human way, always moving forward. And the Valeth way is to move logically and carefully, she added. Together we will move forward both boldly and wisely. Behind them on the bridge, humans and Valeth worked side by side. Hana was teaching a Valeth officer about intuitive navigation. Daehyun was learning Valeth tactical systems. Yuna was deep in conversation with Valeth scientists about combining their knowledge. Earth had representatives on dozens of Valeth worlds now. Cultural exchange programs were running in both directions. Humans learned Valeth technology. Valeth learned human art, music, and philosophy. It wasn't always smooth. There were misunderstandings and conflicts. Some humans distrusted the Valeth. Some Valeth found emotions too overwhelming and requested medical help to suppress them again. The alliance was fragile, but it was real. 6 months after the wedding, Lethera told Jiho something that changed everything again. "I am pregnant," she said quietly. Jiho stopped breathing for a moment.
Is that possible?
"We're different species. Apparently it is possible." The doctors are excited and terrified. This child will be the first hybrid. Part human, part Valeth. A new kind of being. Are you scared? Jiho asked. Yes, but also hopeful.
Is that strange?
No, that's perfectly human. They sat together, holding hands, thinking about the future. Their child would be something new. Neither purely human nor purely Valeth. A bridge between two civilizations. The pregnancy was difficult. There were complications. Several times doctors worried they would lose either Lethera or the baby. But both human and Valeth medicine worked together to solve problems neither could fix alone. 9 months later, their daughter was born. She had purple-tinted skin like her mother but brown eyes like her father. She could sense emotions telepathically but also express them physically like humans. She was beautiful. They named her Mira, which meant peace in Korean and new beginning in Valeth. When Jiho held his daughter for the first time, he thought about everything that had happened. A year ago, he had been a simple ship captain. Now he was married to an alien princess and holding a child who represented the future of two species. "What are you thinking?" Lethera asked from her hospital bed. "I'm thinking about how strange life is," Jiho said. "If someone had told me a year ago that I'd marry an alien and have a purple-skinned baby, I would have thought they were insane." "Are you happy?" Lethera asked. "Truly happy." Jiho looked at his wife, at his daughter, at the mixture of human and Valeth medical staff celebrating in the room. Through the window he could see Valeth and human ships flying together through space. "Yes," he said, "I am truly happy." Years passed. The alliance strengthened. Joint colonies were established on new worlds. Human artists worked with Valeth scientists to create wonders. Valeth strategists worked with human diplomats to solve conflicts. The hybrid children like Mira became symbols of unity. There were still problems. Some extremists on both sides rejected the alliance. There were incidents and conflicts. But both species were committed to making it work. Queen Erethia eventually stepped down from the throne, saying it was time for the next generation to lead. Lethera became queen with Jiho as her consort. Together they guided the alliance through its growing pains. Daehyun married a Valeth warrior named Saris. Hana became the first human admiral in the joint fleet. Yuna won a Galactic Science Award for her research into hybrid genetics. Even Thoraxis found peace. After years of meditation and therapy, he emerged as an advocate for emotional integration. He wrote books about the importance of balancing logic and feeling, becoming one of the most influential philosophers in the new era. 20 years after the first meeting between humans and Valeth, Jiho stood on the same bridge where it all began. He was older now, with gray in his hair, but he was content. Lethera stood beside him. Their daughter Mira, now grown, commanded her own exploration vessel. They had 2 younger children as well, both healthy hybrids. "Do you ever regret it?" Lethera asked. "Giving up your old life?" Jiho thought about it. He had given up a lot. His freedom to choose his own path, his ability to return to Earth permanently, the simple life he once knew, but he had gained so much more. A family, a purpose, the knowledge that he had helped save 2 civilizations. "No regrets," he said. "This is where I belong." They looked out at the stars together. Somewhere out there, human and Valeth ships were exploring new worlds. Children of both species were growing up together, learning from each other. A new civilization was being born. It had started with an impossible offer from an alien queen. "Marry my daughter, human. Save your species. Learn to live together." And somehow, impossibly, it had worked. The Horizon Dawn had been humanity's first step into a larger galaxy. But the new dawn represented something better. Not humans conquering the stars alone, but humans and Valeth exploring together, each making the other stronger. As Jiho held his wife's hand and watched the stars,